Hi there and welcome to episode 8 of Newbie's Tips. Today we're going to talk about retainers and mounts and how you unlock them. For retainers, you cannot access retainers until you complete the MSQ quest, the Scions of the Seventh Dawn. Once you have done that, if you go to each of the major cities, by their market boards, you need to find the person that is the retainer vocate. Now, the retainer vocate in Limbs of the Minster is in the lower docks, the one in Gridania is in Old Gridania, and the one in Uldar is by the Sapphire Exchange. Once you speak to the retainer vocate, you can then hire a retainer. You can customize the retainers exactly like you can your own characters, even giving them gear later on. They have all the customize of the characters. If you look, hairstyle, they have access to all hairstyles you have unlocked, so have fun. Now once you're done, just confirm. And just like your characters, you have to give them a name as well. But you can also give them a type of demeanor. This is preset and it will give you set phrases. Unfortunately, you can't pick a name that's already chosen, so you're gonna have to keep going until you have a unique name for your retainer. Now, depending on which city you hire your retainer will depending on which market they're closest to. So if people want to buy your stuff from your retainer that you can sell onto the market board, they will get taxed if they're not in the same city state as the one that you got your retainer in. There's taxes for a few things. Now, once you hire the retainer, if you go to a summoning belt, you can come access to them. Now, this is probably the biggest reason to have a retainer. They have 175 inventory slots for you to be able to dump your stuff into. To dump your stuff, you click on the item, and you can put it in there. If you wish to collect, just click on that item again and go retrieve from retainer. Now, you can also have it hold guild. So if you want to be cautious about overspending, you can put some guild in there so that you have something in case you do go too far low on the thing. If you wish to sell an item, you go to sell items in your inventory on the market. Select the item you wish to sell, so let's put that up. And then from there you'll be able to set the price, how many quantities, so if you have multiple in your inventory you can select how many from your inventory you wish to sell at one go. And then you can also, right at the top, compare prices, so you can actually see how much it's selling for by other players. Right, now once you put it up, it's up there, and it won't go up on the market board until you dismiss your retainer. But if you, after you dismiss your retainer, and then you click on the summoning bell again, you can see how many items you are selling by that one specific retainer. And the date assigned is, it gives you 1 week to try and sell that item. But if you call your retainer and then dismiss your retainer, it resets the timer. Right, if you wish to take back the item from selling it, you can just go to the sell inventory screen again, click on the sub command on the item and go return. You can either return it to your retainer's inventory or you can return it to your own inventory. So there we are. Once you have hired a retainer, there'll be a quest pop up in the city that you hired that retainer in that will that is called an ill-conceived venture. Now this gives you access to ventures, and I suggest doing this so that you can level up your retainer so that they can go and collect items for you. Now once you have finished the quest, you'll be given an item called Ventures. These appear in your currency tab, and you need them to send your retainer on Ventures. Now to do that, you must assign the class to your retainer. Now I suggest assigning the class that you are going to be leveling up most. So because I'm a Marauder, I will assign it as a Marauder. You cannot assign it a class you do not have unlocked. Once you have done that, you can also give them gear. Now, only give them outdated gear. So, Weathered War Axe, which is the first weapon I got, and that gives them that ability. Now, you can give them other things as well, like, and make them look however you like. Right. By giving them gear, you give them... By giving them gear, you increase their item level. By increasing their item level, when you do quick exploration, you got a better chance of getting better loot. Much higher item levels, you'll be, as well as levels, you'll be able to start, maybe occasionally you might get lucky with glowing primal weapons. A lot of the time you might receive some fish or some furniture, so they do like to have a kind of breaking and entering thing going on. So once you have assigned the class, you can give them a venture. Now you can give them a hunting venture, which specifically goes after specific items from mobs and enemies, or you can give them field explorations, which give them a bit more time. Eventually you will unlock quick exploration, which are every hour, and they give a random amount of experience points, but also it gives you random items. Once you have sent them off, you can view the retainer report with how much time and when they're going to return, as well as the amount of experience points they're expected to get. You can recall them from whenever they're on a venture. They will receive nothing, but you can do that if you need to have access to them straight away. You can still put up items for sale, as well as give them inventory to hold on to even while they're on ventures. So they are not locked out from their other things when they're on ventures, so do not worry about that. That's all on the ventures, on retainers and ventures. So I will now swap over to my main, where I will show you how, when you get your mounts and how you go about getting your mounts. And here we are on my main. Right, to unlock mounts, you must progress further through the MSQ until you join the first Grand Company. So once you have completed the company you keep for whichever Grand Company, I was with the Maelstrom, so that's where I am. And once you finish that quest, if you come to it, come back to the Maelstrom command. There'll be a quest nearby that will ask you to get a specific item from the Grand Company. That item is the Chocobo registration license. Now that should be under this top section, be around here. It's only 200 Grand Company seals, which is the currency for Grand Companies. It's a one-time buy, and because I've handed in the quest, it no longer appears, so I can't buy it again. Now, once you have that item, you can continue the quest, which will ask you to go down into the lower docks. This is specifically for limbs to limits. It may ask you to go to the Chocobo Keep in each of the major cities otherwise. So if we just go down, when you talk to the Chocobo Keep, they will ask you to give your Chocobo a name, and once you have done that and handed in the quest, you'll be able to then summon your Chocobo. And when you do that, you will have access to every single mount you can attain and use them from there on out. Now, mounts are your easiest way to get around, especially in later areas, but you absolutely want to do it because you don't want to be running everywhere because it takes forever. Now there are plenty of different types of mounts depending on what you like. Some mounts have unique musics based on the fight that you might have gotten them from. Some have just generic music, and others have unique, just plain unique music to them that's not even in fights. Something like the car, which unfortunately is no longer attainable, has its own music to it, which is from Final Fantasy 15. And then you get stuff like Ozma as well, which, while has a generic mount music for Heaven's Ward onwards, is just lovely, and it can also transform when I fly or swim, so you get specific stuff like that. You absolutely want to get the mounts unlocked as fast as you can. That has been this episode on Newbie's Tips. I hope it's been helpful, and I will bow out here. Thank you.